You won't believe what just surfaced online, and trust me, this one has the internet in absolute chaos. Imagine scrolling through your feed, minding your business, and suddenly stumbling across whispers of a scandal so jaw-dropping, so outrageous, that even the most loyal fans of the Harris family are left speechless. That's exactly what's happening right now, as explosive rumors swirl around none other than King Harris, the outspoken son of rap legend. T.I. and what's being called an alleged gay video scandal? Yes, you heard that right. The internet is buzzing with claims, screenshots, and supposed receipts that paint a shocking picture. And just when fans thought it couldn't get any more chaotic, T.I. himself has finally broken his silence. His reaction? Let's just say it's not what anyone expected. Sources close to the family say tensions are boiling over behind closed doors, with accusations flying, emotions running high, and the Harris household more divided than ever before. But what exactly did T.I. say? How did King Harris respond? And why are fans calling this the biggest family scandal of the year? Stay tuned, because what's about to unfold is nothing short of shocking, and you won't want to miss a second of it. The tension around the Harris family reached a boiling point the moment whispers of an alleged video started circling the internet. People weren't just talking, they were obsessing. Fans on social media began flooding timelines with shocked emojis, endless theories, and wild accusations. It wasn't long before King Harris found himself right in the middle of a storm he never saw coming. And the whispers, they weren't about music, they weren't about his recent outbursts online, they weren't even about his rebellious behavior. No, this time it was something far more explosive: an alleged gay video scandal that people claimed featured him. The internet, as always, had no mercy. Comments poured in from every direction. Some fans defended him, saying the video had to be fake, edited, or a cruel attempt to tarnish his name. Others weren't so kind, calling him out and accusing him of hiding secrets from his family and his fans. Every minute, the rumors grew louder, the claims grew wilder, and the pressure on King built higher. But what shook everyone even more was T.I.'s silence. Known for being outspoken, for never holding back his thoughts, and for fiercely protecting his family, the rapper's lack of response had fans suspicious. Was he trying to shield King? Was he ashamed? Or was he secretly furious and waiting for the right moment to explode? The silence only added fuel to the fire inside the Harris household. Things were no calmer. Sources claimed that King was pacing back and forth, yelling that none of it was true, swearing that someone was trying to set him up. "Man, they always coming after me," he allegedly shouted, slamming his phone down on the table. "I can't even breathe without somebody trying to destroy me." Tiny. His mother was said to be in tears, pleading for the family to come together before the scandal got worse. She begged King to stay offline to stop feeding the trolls, but King wasn't having it. "If I stay quiet, they win," he snapped back, his voice full of frustration. And then came T.I. walking into the room, calm, but with an energy that made everyone freeze. According to those close to the family, he stared at his son for a long moment before finally speaking. "You better tell me right now, is there any truth to this?" he asked, his voice low, controlled, but carrying the weight of a man on the edge. The room went silent. King, visibly shaken but defiant, swore it wasn't him, that the whole thing was a setup. He claimed people were jealous, that they wanted to destroy his name because he was a Harris, because he carried a legacy T. I listened, his face hard to read, and then simply said, "You better hope you're telling me the truth." Those words reportedly cut deep. For King, it wasn't just about the scandal anymore. It was about his father's trust, his father's belief in him. And for T.I., it was about protecting the family name, the brand he had built for decades, now suddenly at risk of being dragged through the mud. Meanwhile, fans online were tearing the story apart piece by piece. Some were zooming into blurry screenshots, claiming they could identify King's tattoos, while others were dissecting audio clips they swore proved it was his voice. Hashtags about the scandal were trending, and the longer T.I. stayed silent, the more fans demanded answers. Behind the scenes, friends close to King warned him to keep his cool. One even told him, "Bro, this is bigger than you think. They're trying to ruin you for real." But King, never one to back down, started posting cryptic messages on his socials, hinting that he knew exactly who was behind the leak. This only made the situation messier, with fans and blogs speculating about hidden feuds, secret enemies, and betrayals within his circle. The story took an even darker turn when an anonymous account claimed to have the full video and threatened to release it if King didn't come clean. Suddenly, this wasn't just gossip, it was blackmail. And the thought of a full video dropping had the Harris family spiraling. Tiny reportedly broke down, telling T.I., "We can't let this destroy him. He's still our baby." But T.I., furious at the thought of someone targeting his son, swore he would get to the bottom of it. "If somebody thinks they can play with my family, they got another thing coming," he reportedly told his team. And yet, despite his anger, T.I. still hadn't gone public. The rapper was weighing his options carefully. If he defended King too quickly and the video turned out to be real, he'd risk losing all credibility. But if he stayed quiet, people would take his silence as confirmation of guilt. It was a no-win situation, and everyone knew it. King, on the other hand, was spiraling emotionally. He felt cornered, betrayed, and abandoned. Late at night, he allegedly broke down in front of his sister, saying, "Why does it feel like Dad doesn't even believe me?" She comforted him, reminding him that their father was just trying to figure out how to protect the family. But the seed of doubt was already planted in King's mind. As hours turned into days, the tension reached its peak when blogs began reporting that T.I. was preparing to speak out. Fans flooded the comments, begging him to either clear King's name or confirm the truth. Speculation was at an all-time high. Was this about to become the biggest scandal in hip-hop family history? Or was T.I. about to drop bombshell evidence that would silence everyone? Inside the family home, T.I. called a private meeting with King Tiny and a few trusted advisors. Emotions were raw, tears were shed, and heated arguments broke out. King demanded his father publicly defend him, shouting, "You're supposed to ride for me no matter what." But T.I. snapped back, "I can't ride for you if I don't know what I'm defending." Those words hung in the air like a dagger. For King, it was the ultimate betrayal, feeling like his own father doubted him. For T.I., it was about protecting the family name and making sure he wasn't walking into a trap. Tiny tried to mediate, her voice trembling as she begged them to stop fighting and remember they were family. But the divide was clear, and the clock was ticking, with rumors intensifying and fans demanding answers. T.I. finally decided it was time to break his silence. But what would he say? Would he defend King outright? Would he hint that there might be truth behind the whispers? Or would he take an entirely different route that no one expected? And just as the family braced themselves for the storm to come, an anonymous message landed in King's inbox, one that would take this scandal in a whole new direction. The anonymous message hit King's phone like a grenade in the middle of an already fragile situation. It wasn't a random DM from a troll or a phonet. It was carefully worded, calculated, and terrifyingly direct. The sender claimed to have not just the alleged video, but proof of who leaked it and why. The message read, "You don't know who your real enemies are. The video isn't the whole story. If you want the truth, meet me tomorrow night. No cameras, no phones. Come alone." King stared at the words, his hands shaking. His heart raced, torn between fear and anger. Who was this person? Were they telling the truth, or was it just another cruel trick? And yet there was something about the tone of the message that felt too deliberate to ignore. When he told Tiny about it, she panicked instantly. "Baby, you can't go," she pleaded. "This could be dangerous. What if they're trying to trap you?" But King was stubborn, his voice cracking as he shouted, "I need to know who's behind this. I can't just sit here and let them play with my life." T.I. walked in mid-argument. And the moment he saw the message, his face darkened. "Ain't no way you're going anywhere by yourself," he said firmly. "Whoever this is, they're trying to bait you. I've been in this game too long not to recognize a setup when I see one." But King, still feeling cornered and betrayed, shot back at his father. So what? I just sit here while the whole world clowns me. You don't even believe me, Dad? Maybe I need to handle this my way since you won't stand up for me. The room went cold. T.I.'s jaw tightened. His voice sharp but controlled. Don't you dare mistake my silence for weakness. I'm protecting this family. You running out there like some hothead is exactly what they want. The standoff left the family divided. Tiny begged them to find common ground, but the hurt in King's eyes was undeniable. He felt betrayed not just by the world, but by his own father's doubts. The next day, gossip blogs exploded with a new twist. Screenshots from the alleged video were now being shared widely, and fans swore they could identify King. Look at the chain, one commenter wrote. That's definitely him. Another added, I knew he was hiding something. The hashtags grew louder. And now King was trending worldwide. Under the weight of humiliation. King stormed out of the house, ignoring Tiny's cries and T.I.'s warnings. Sources claimed he drove aimlessly for hours before finally pulling up to the meeting spot. Mentioned in the anonymous message a deserted parking lot on the outskirts of the city, what he found there was not what he expected. Waiting for him was not some shady stranger, but someone he knew, a former friend, a face from his past. The moment King recognized him, his anger boiled over. You, he shouted, stepping closer. You're the one behind this. The former friend, smirking, replied, I told you one day it would come back to bite you. You thought you could play me, embarrass me in front of everybody, and get away with it. Nah, bro. Now the whole world gets to see who you really are. King's voice shook with rage. You ruined my life over some old beef? You think this makes you look strong? You look pathetic. The friend laughed coldly, holding up a phone. Pathetic. Nah, I'm in control now. And unless you do exactly what I say, that video goes everywhere unedited. Double quotes. Meanwhile, back at their Harris home, T.I. grew restless. Something in his gut told him King had ignored his warning. He's gone, T. I muttered under his breath, scanning the house. That boy really did it. Without wasting time, he grabbed his keys. Determined to track him down, what followed was a confrontation that sources described as explosive. T.I. arrived at the parking lot just in time to see his son squaring off with his former friend. He wasted no time stepping between them. You think you can blackmail my family? T.I. growled, his voice full of controlled fury. You don't know who you're messing with. The friend, unshaken, shot back. The world's already laughing at your son. If you don't want things to get worse, you better play by my rules. Tiny, who had been desperately trying to call King, finally got through just as the shouting match escalated. King, still furious, screamed into the phone. Mom, it's him. He set me up. Her sobs on the other end only fueled his anger. Fans online, completely unaware of what was happening in that parking lot, were glued to their screens as new rumors surfaced. Some claimed King had admitted the video was real in private. Others swore it was part of a bigger plot to ruin T.I.'s reputation. The speculation grew more chaotic by the minute, and the silence from the family's official channels only intensified the frenzy. Back at the lot, things spiraled further. The former friend revealed his demand: money, publicity, and an apology from King. You humiliated me in front of everybody, and now I want the world to see you bow down. Double quotes T.I. Refused outright. Over my dead body, he snarled. But King, torn between pride and desperation, hesitated. For a split second, it looked like he might give in just to make the nightmare stop. Maybe if I just apologize, he'll drop it, he muttered, his voice breaking. T.I. turned to him, eyes blazing. Don't you dare. You think giving in will make this go away? It'll only make you his puppet. We fight this on our terms, not his. And in that moment, for the first time, King saw the fire in his father's eyes, not his doubt. But as protection. The confrontation ended abruptly when security called in by T.I.'s team showed up and forced the former friend to retreat. But his parting words sent chills through everyone present. This isn't over. The video's already out there. You can't stop what's coming. Later that night, back at home, the family sat in silence. King's head was in his hands, Tiny's eyes swollen from crying, and T.I. pacing back and forth. Finally, T.I. spoke. "We're not just fighting rumors anymore. This is war. And if that video's really out there, we need to decide how we're going to handle it." King lifted his head, tears streaming down his face. "But what if people never believe me? What if they always see me as that video?" T.I. stopped pacing, put a hand on his son's shoulder, and said quietly, "Then we show them who you really are. This family doesn't fold. We fight back no matter how ugly it gets." But little did they know, the storm was only just beginning, because within hours, a new leak would surface. One that would flip the entire scandal upside down. The sun had barely risen when the internet was shaken once again. Overnight, a new leak had surfaced, not just screenshots this time, but a heavily edited clip that sent fans spiraling into chaos. The video, blurry and grainy, appeared to confirm what so many had been speculating. It was titled "The Real King Harris Exposed," and within minutes of being uploaded, it spread across every platform imaginable. At a stage, TAGS exploded, trending worldwide within the hour. Fans flooded the comments with disbelief. "Yo, that's definitely him," one wrote. "I can't believe this is happening," another added. But others weren't convinced, pointing out how strange the editing looked, how the audio didn't quite match. One fan tweeted, "This is too convenient. Somebody's trying to destroy him. Open your eyes." Back at the Harris home, the family sat in shock as the video played across their TV screen. Tiny was sobbing, whispering over and over, "Why won't they leave my baby alone?" King sat stone-faced, his jaw clenched so tight it looked like it might crack. "That's not me," he muttered, voice low but filled with fury. "They're playing games with my life." Double quotes T.I. watched silently, his eyes narrowing as he replayed the clip over and over. Finally, he muttered, "This is edited. I know how these snakes work. They want us to believe it, but they slipped up." His tone carried certainty. But his face betrayed the weight he was carrying. The internet, however, didn't care about editing or truth. The headlines were merciless. King Harris caught in shocking video. T.I.'s family legacy in jeopardy. Harris's household rocked by scandal. Every outlet jumped on the story, milking every detail they could. In the midst of the chaos, King's phone buzzed again. It was another anonymous message, this time more threatening. "You can try to deny it, but the world already believes. Unless you meet my demands, the full video drops tomorrow." King threw his phone across the room in rage. "They're playing with me like I'm some kind of puppet," he yelled, "and nobody even cares about the truth anymore." Tiny rushed to hold him, but he pulled away, pacing back and forth. "I can't live like this, Mom. They're destroying me." Double quotes T.I. finally spoke up, his voice heavy but commanding. "Son, you listen to me. This is exactly what they want. They want you to break. They want you to fold under pressure, but we ain't built to fold. Pressure, but we ain't built to fold." For a moment, King locked eyes with his father. The anger, the doubt, the betrayal, all of it simmered beneath the surface. "But do you believe me, Dad?" he asked, his voice trembling. "Do you actually believe me when I say that's not me?" The room went silent. Tiny's eyes darted between them, her heart breaking. T.I. took a long breath, then placed his hand on King's shoulder. "I believe my son, and that's enough for me." Those words hit King harder than any scandal could. For the first time since the nightmare began, he felt a flicker of hope. But the battle was far from over. Later that day, T.I. decided to make his first public statement. He went live on social media, his face stern, his tone sharp. "Y'all think you can play with my family's name and get away with it?" He began, "Let me be crystal clear, what y'all seeing floating around is fake. It's edited. It's a setup. And anybody pushing this narrative is about to be held accountable." Fans erupted instantly. Some cheered, praising T.I. for defending his son. Others rolled their eyes, claiming he was just doing damage control. The divide grew wider, and the scandal only grew bigger. But behind the scenes, things were more complicated. The family's legal team had already begun digging into the origins of the leaks, and what they found shocked everyone. The files had been traced back to multiple accounts, but all linked to the same source, someone close to King's inner circle. When confronted, King froze. No way, he stammered. They were my friends. I trusted them. The betrayal cut deeper than the scandal itself. King felt his chest tighten as the reality sank in. Someone he had let into his world, someone he had laughed with, trusted, maybe even defended, had turned on him for clout and money. Tiny broke down again, crying into her hands. "This is too much for him," she whispered. "He's just a kid. Why can't they leave him alone?" T.I., however, was fueled by fury. "They messed with the wrong family," he growled. "You don't betray us and walk away clean. I'm gonna make sure of that." But while the family tried to strategize their next move, the internet continued to spiral. Memes mocking King flooded every corner of social media. Influencers jumped on the scandal for clicks, while fans debated endlessly about whether the video was real. King's name was everywhere, and not in the way he wanted. Alone in his room that night, King stared at his reflection in the mirror. "Is this what I'm going to be known for?" he whispered to himself. "Not my music, not my grind, but some fake video." His voice cracked, and for the first time, the weight of it all broke him down. Tiny found him hours later, curled up, tears streaking his face. She wrapped her arms around him, whispering softly, "Baby, you're stronger than this. They can't define you with lies." But even her words felt hollow against the roar of the internet outside. And then, just when the family thought things couldn't get worse, another twist dropped. A second video leak appeared online, this one even more convincing than the first. It wasn't blurry, it wasn't grainy, it was crystal clear. The figure in the video looked exactly like King. The voice sounded just like him. Fans lost their minds. "This settles it. That's definitely him." One commenter wrote. Another declared, "No more excuses. It's over." The backlash was instant and brutal. The Harris household erupted into chaos. King screamed, "That's not me," over and over, pounding his fists against the wall. Tiny was hysterical, begging him to calm down before he hurt himself. And T.I., for the first time, looked shaken. The resemblance was uncanny, almost too perfect. But then came the twist no one saw coming. One of T.I.'s close friends, who worked in the music industry, reached out with shocking information. "This isn't just some random leak," he said. "This is a deepfake. Somebody went to serious lengths to make this look real." The revelation stunned the family. Deepfake technology so advanced it could mimic faces, voices, and mannerisms had been used to create the so-called scandal. The betrayal was still real, but the video itself? Manufactured's eyes burned with rage. "They tried to destroy my boy with lies. They tried to break us apart. Nah, we ain't letting this slide." But if deepfakes were involved, that meant the enemy wasn't just a bitter ex-friend. It was someone with resources, someone with knowledge, someone determined to destroy the Harris name. And as the family realized the stakes had been raised, a chilling question lingered in the air. If someone went this far to frame King, what else were they capable of? The scandal wasn't ending. It was only about to get darker, messier, and far more dangerous than anyone could have imagined. The deepfake revelation sent shockwaves through the Harris household. Suddenly, everything made a twisted kind of sense. The grainy clips, the inconsistent audio, the way the evidence felt both convincing and off at the same time. Someone had gone to extreme lengths to fabricate a scandal. But the question that gnawed at everyone was simple. Who had the motive? And why target King so viciously? Tiny sat at the dining table, her face buried in her hands, whispering, "This isn't just gossip anymore. This is someone trying to ruin us completely." King paced the room like a caged animal, his fists clenched. "They wanted to make me look like a clown. They wanted to make me a joke." His voice cracked and he slammed his hand against the wall. They almost won. T.I., however, was stone cold. He had dealt with enemies, industry snakes, and people trying to come for his name before. But this was different. This was personal. "They think they slick," he muttered, pacing with his phone in hand. "But they left digital fingerprints all over this mess. And when I find out who's behind it, ain't no mercy." The legal team worked nonstop, piecing together where the files had originated. The trail led to a shell company, one that had connections to a rival artist who had clashed with King online in the past. The name was like a dagger when it was mentioned, a young rapper who had taken every opportunity to mock King, calling him soft and accusing him of riding his father's coattails. When King heard the name, he exploded. "I knew it. I knew he hated me enough to pull something like this. He's been obsessed with tearing me down." Tiny tried to calm him, but King was relentless. "Nah, this ain't just about rap beef. This is war." The revelation spread like wildfire through private circles before hitting the blogs. "Rival rapper linked to King Harris deepfake scandal," read one headline. And within hours, the rival was being dragged online. Fans flooded his pages, demanding answers. But instead of denying it, he leaned into the chaos, posting cryptic messages like, "Funny how the truth always comes out and can't fake what's real." King nearly lost his mind when he saw the posts. "He's playing with me in front of the whole world. He's making me the punchline of his career." Double quotes T.I. pulled him aside, his tone stern. "Listen to me, son. They want you to react. They want you to blow up so they can call you unstable, so they can control the narrative. You can't give them that power." But King, still young and raw, couldn't hold back his emotions. He went live on social media, his eyes blazing with rage. "Y'all really think you can play with me like this? You think you can put fake videos out and make me look weak? Nah, I ain't the one. When the truth comes out, y'all gonna see who's real and who's a coward hiding behind fake edits." The live went viral instantly. Fans debated his tone, some saying he sounded strong and defiant, others claiming he sounded desperate. But one thing was certain: King wasn't hiding anymore, behind the scenes. The Harris family prepared for what they knew would be the breaking point. Their lawyers planned to take the rival rapper to court, and investigators worked tirelessly to trace every file, every upload, every server. But the rival wasn't backing down. In fact, he escalated. Within days, a new leak appeared online, one that seemed even more convincing than before. This time, however, the Harris family was ready. They brought in tech experts who publicly debunked the clip, breaking it down frame by frame and proving it was a manipulated deepfake. The internet exploded with reactions. "This whole time we were fooled," one fan tweeted. Another wrote, "Deepfakes are scary. They almost destroyed that boy's life." The tide began to turn, but King wasn't satisfied with just clearing his name. He wanted revenge. "They dragged me through hell," he told his father. "I can't just let it go." T.I. looked him dead in the eyes. "Revenge don't build nothing. You want to win. You show them you can't be broken. You use this pain to fuel you, not destroy you." In the days that followed, the family rallied together. Tiny worked to keep everyone grounded, comforting King when the pressure threatened to overwhelm him. T.I. made powerful calls, leveraging his influence in the industry to make sure the rival rapper's antics backfired. And King, despite his anger, began to see the bigger picture. He returned to the studio, channeling his emotions into music. Sources close to him said the tracks were raw, emotional, and unlike anything he'd ever recorded. He turned the scandal into art, one insider revealed. "You can hear the pain, the betrayal, but also the strength. It's like he found his voice through the chaos." Fans, too, began to shift in their support. Hashtags like "Justice for King" and "Stop Deepfakes" started trending. People who had mocked him before now admitted they had been too quick to judge. "I feel bad for him," one commenter wrote. "Imagine the whole world believing a lie about you. That's messed up." And then came the most dramatic moment of all T.I.'s second public statement. Standing beside King, he looked into the camera with fire in his eyes. "Y'all tried to tear my son down with lies. Y'all tried to break my family apart. But what you didn't realize is we don't break. We rise. You can't kill the truth with a lie. Not now, not ever. King, his voice steady but emotional, added, "Y'all saw what they tried to do to me. And I won't lie, it hurt. It almost broke me. But I'm still here. I know who I am, and no fake video can change that." The internet lit up with reactions. Fans praised his strength, calling it a redemption moment. Even some of his harshest critics admitted he had handled the storm better than they expected. The scandal that was meant to destroy him had, ironically, given him a platform to show resilience. But behind the applause and praise, the wounds remained. King knew that people would always remember the scandal, that whispers would follow him for years. And yet, he also knew he had survived the darkest storm of his young life. Tiny, holding her son close one night, whispered, "Baby, you made it through the fire. They tried to burn you down, but look, you're still standing." Double quotes T.I. Ever the realist added, "This ain't the end of the battle, son. But now you know you can fight M, and you'll never have to fight alone." The family, scarred but united, looked toward the future with a new kind of strength. The scandal had nearly destroyed them, but in the end, it only reminded them of who they were. Survivors, fighters, and above all, a family that refused to fold. And as the dust began to settle, one thing became clear: the story of King Harris wasn't ending with a scandal. It was just beginning. And just like that, what started as whispers of an alleged scandal spiraled into one of the most dramatic chapters in the Harris family's history, from the shocking leaks to the emotional confrontations inside their home. From betrayal by so-called friends to the terrifying reality of deepfake technology, the journey was nothing short of chaos. King Harris went from being dragged across the internet to standing tall beside his father, proving that no matter how ugly the lies, the truth always finds its way to the surface. But while the dust may be settling for now, questions still linger. Will the rival rapper face real consequences for allegedly orchestrating this plot? Will King be able to fully shake off the shadow of the scandal? Or will it follow him as he builds his music career? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what lengths will enemies go to next, now that they've failed to break the Harris family this time? One thing is certain, this story has left fans shocked, divided, and hungry for more answers. The emotions ran high. The family was pushed to its breaking point. But through it all, they refused to fold. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe King Harris has cleared his name? Or do you think the scandal will always leave a mark? Was T.I. right to wait before speaking out? Or should he have defended his son immediately? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we want to hear from you. And if you don't want to miss the next explosive twist in this ongoing saga, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.